Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun.
dun. Transmorphers.
Not quite what meets the eye. I don't know how you would do this intro.
Yep. Well, Perfect Turd, episode number 6.
Number 6. And we went a little different because we like to do B movies of not just of the past, but of the present. And go ahead.
A specific genre here,
Yes.
the knockoff genre.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes. Well, we found that out after we watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because all they did was knock off the freaking title.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, I'll say this: there are elements.
There's elements. I mean,
there are robots, and they change sometimes.
Yeah, they change. God.
So, Transmorphers.
Yep, from our friends from Asylum Films.
Yeah. Yes.
Who are in the business of making B movies.
Yes. Transmorphers is the knockoff of Transformers, and I guess we'll go into the plot.
Okay,
because the plot, the exposition in this movie is explained in like maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And the showing of it is very strange. Because number one, just to start off, the special effects are not the greatest.
No, not at all.
Because, oh God.
It's mid-90s CGI.
Oh man. I would say it's like mid-90s tests. Like they were testing this stuff out to see if it works.
Right.
Because it's like, it of course has, the narrator talking about, we sent out these probes out into space to contact life, and then they sent something back.
Yeah.
And it's the same exact, I would say, like, effect or whatever that they use for, like, the little robot things being shot to the earth. And it's like the same exact asset just flipping. And then
they went into their stock.
Oh yeah, and they were like, F it, copy and paste.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and they all are just, rotating to Earth, and then they hit Earth, and then you don't even really see too much destruction. You see like a building get hit. And then the narrator is like, 90% of the human race was destroyed. What? Just wiped out. You don't see any of this.
Yeah.
90% is just
gone.
over.
Everyone else went underground.
Yes.
And the atmosphere changed.
Yes.
It just rains all the time.
It rains all the time. It's always dark. Because that's how you show things are bad.
Yeah.
Things are dark and raining.
Dark and raining.
All the time. So, yeah. And then, so the resistance is made underground with the humans. Who...
all the leaders are female, I noticed, which is kind of cool.
Which, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Because this movie is progressive. A lot of the leaders are,
I guess
female. I'm sorry, women.
The woman that's, I'm assuming, like the president.
Yeah.
And then the general.
Yes.
I forget her name even. Von Berg. Or they all had like European names too, I noticed.
We're going to talk about how many fucking characters are in this movie.
There are a lot of characters.
There are a lot of characters in this movie. And a lot of women leadership. But did you notice they kept on calling them sir?
Sir. Yes, I did notice that.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was weird.
Sir, I have a recommendation.
Sir, our scouts report seeing heavy weapons fire on the engagement field.
Oh, but one of the leaders is actually a lesbian. More progressive.
Yeah, that's something we got to talk about a little bit later when we establish the other dude.
Well, yeah, so, okay.
But yeah, lesbian, which is cool.
Yes.
But like I said, that ties into another character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot going on because apparently these robots, which were also created with horrible CGI.
Yeah, the worst.
they're
Horrible.
they're closing in on their city. Which, by the way, we never really see the outside of it too much.
No, the locations are limited in this film.
Oh,
there's a couple
boy.
interior locations, and they just kind of reuse them over and over.
And some horrible green screen.
Horrible green screen. And when they go outside, it's basically tight shots. You don't see a lot of the scope.
Lots of rain.
Lots of rain. And apparently the robots, their like main thing is they do a brain scan
Yes.
on the people.
And we see that one time with one guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, all right, so how are we going to defeat these bastards?
Yeah.
They get us with the brain scans every time we go out, and they're like, there's one man.
Oh, yeah.
The brain scans don't work on him because he's so badass.
Yes.
He's so cold and callous.
But he's also, I guess, an outlaw because he started a revolution.
Yeah.
Which, that is another story element that's very weird. Because they say, like, he started a revolt.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, they don't really go much into that.
So not only do they have a human revolution against the alien robots that are attacking Earth, there's another revolt that happens between the humans.
Apparently. Just cuz.
Just cuz. And we're just like, so
yeah,
he's a revolutionary.
He was frozen. He was in a cryo freeze because of his crimes against the rebellion.
And that's another thing. They freeze him.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, no, they don't have... Yeah, it would be more efficient just to lock him up in prison.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know.
So they unfreeze him. They're like, listen, you got to help us fight these robots.
We know you started a revolutionary revolt.
He's like, the only way I'll help is if you unfreeze my buddy. My other friend that's frozen.
Yeah.
He's like, he's the only one I trust.
Do I need an appointment?
So he's the, the sidekick of the film.
He's supposed to be the comedic side of things.
Yeah, he's the comic relief.
Well, that's all right, because we're used to doing a lot with nothing.
Well, the whole damn movie's comic relief. I shouldn't even say that.
Yeah. Unintentionally.
Unintentional.
Yeah, and that leads to him doing the recruiting of the soldiers, which leads to probably one of the worst shot, choreographed fight scenes ever.
Yep.
Because basically he's trying to find these guys that are badasses, and it's like, hit me. And the guy doesn't do it. And then, does he dick punch the guy? He just like, pow. You can't hesitate.
Those kids are not gonna make it.
Oh, and then he has a British accent.
Yeah.
He's the only person with a British accent.
Yeah, and they all have European names except for him.
Yes.
And he's the only one with an accent.
Yeah.
Of any kind, really. So now this Mitchell, after he comes out frozen,
Yes.
he wants to go see his ex-wife.
Yes.
It turns out she's turned lesbian,
Yes.
and she is now...
Whoa, lesbian, sir. We're not trying to get hit up by Glad, goddammit.
Well, if I was being rude, I would have said lesbo.
Oh,
But I just stuttered my word and
there
said
we go.
lesbi.
Lesbian. She is a lesbian woman.
Yes.
And that might even be offensive. Let's just say this. She just happens to fall in love with a woman.
Right.
There you go. No problems at all. Glad, please don't hit us up. We are not discriminatory against anyone. But yeah, she becomes a lesbian.
Yes. Yes, she does.
Yeah, and that's a conflict in this movie. She's conflicted because the man that she loves is now alive. Well, I'm sorry, is unfrozen.
He's unfrozen.
Have you suffered any side effects from the cryofreeze?
It's just some dizziness, nothing serious.
They don't normally pull people out from a deep freeze. You had a 100-year sentence.
And it seems to have been commuted in favor of the death penalty.
Well, now's your chance. You can prove all of us wrong. I didn't come here for an apology.
Maybe she was so much in love with him that she couldn't, be with another man. Maybe that's why she changed. Because she was so much, she was like, no other man. I can never love another man.
Like in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Because that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're referencing this movie to Austin Powers. But that's what happens.
Because she's still, you can tell there's still something between them. They still care for each other.
Yeah, because...
She still cares for him, too.
But, I mean, he has that British accent.
That's
he's
true.
the one person out of this whole movie that has a British accent. You can't let go of a man.
Those
with a
damn
British
guys
accent.
with the accents.
Yeah, they get all the women. I mean, they're so... I mean, when it's only the 10% of the population left, are you going to find another man with an accent?
Yep.
So, yeah, there's still something going on. And then doesn't she... It's like this mission that they go on. She volunteers to go anyway. For some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think your wife is the boss, like, you're not going on these horrible missions. But she goes.
Yeah, for some reason.
And she gets lost, essentially. Well, they go after the robots.
Yeah.
Her and this other woman. They get these glider things or whatever.
Oh,
and they go, let's get them. And they go off and they get lost, essentially. Yeah. And then Mitchell.
Yes.
So during this battle, and the battle kind of subsides a little bit, and he's like, what happened to, what's her face? I forget her name. You remember her name?
We forgot
There's
a lot of
too many characters to remember their names.
That's another problem with this movie, because he has his friend, a sidekick, then you have the crew with their things, and then you have this really mean woman who turns out to be a pilot later on.
Yeah.
And then you have, of course, the top woman who answers to another woman. And then you have, like, a tech guy who made his own robot.
Yeah. There's a tech guy and a doctor.
And a doctor.
Yeah, there's so many characters, and they're all basically insignificant.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he's like, what happened to her? And like, we don't know. She's lost. And so he's, lost the love of his life.
Apparently.
So now he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And so anyways, they get back and they're like, they capture one of the robots.
Mm-hmm.
He gets broken down.
Which is not just a robot.
Yep. The robots are aliens.
They're aliens. And there's a really bad, line where it's like, we thought the aliens sent these robots. But we find out the robots are the aliens. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So they're organic beings, but they're still robots.
Mm-hmm. And they decide that they come to the conclusion that to take these guys down, you got to get to their power cell.
Yes.
And they're trying to figure out a way to do it. And they say, well, we can do it with, we need an android.
Oh, God.
And they had, the doctor guy had built a female android.
Yes.
That, and that brings back to earlier in the movie, the comic relief guy.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you think you can build me one of those? And with the innuendo that, he wants to bang the robot.
Yes.
Well, I don't see why not. Excellent. Excellent.
So anyways, like, we got to do something with the power cell. I don't even remember what. And we need an android to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we don't have an android that's capable. And they're like, but we do. Just so happens that the first prototype android that I made is Mitchell.
Yeah.
I made you too human. I gave you the ability to feel, care, love.
I've always known.
Nobody knows this until now. And by the way, when he's explaining that, he's like, well, actually, I made another robot. He's like, wait, no. Actually made 3 robots. And it's just like, wait a minute, you forgot a whole robot you made? So this guy really isn't that great. Ooh, that was lightning.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love when it's like dry like this and you see lightning. But anyway, Mitchell is a robot.
Yeah.
Of course you have. You are self-aware. No one in the military even questioned the fact that you were the first human being found above ground in over 100 years.
And so then they go out to not only find his wife, but to end this robot onslaught. And so they go to the main, what is the main tower or whatever?
Yeah, the main tower,
Yes.
which turns into another robot.
Yes. So
That's the only real morphing that's going on here.
they get inside of the actual big tower that turns into a robot. And then, of course, you have horrible hover cycle CGI stuff.
That was the worst.
Oh, God.
That was the worst scene in the whole movie.
They're shooting at us! You fuck! We got one!
And then, so they get inside the big robot. And then there's the touching moment between Mitchell and his wife. I've always loved you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then, which leads to a very bad part of the film. He finally gets in there, and there's like this tube thing?
Yeah, I guess that's where the main power cell was. I don't know. He goes inside some kind of tube.
But he just goes in it.
Yeah.
And the door closes, and then everything just starts to shut off.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It was part of their plan somehow, but none of it really made much sense.
Everything just starts turning off.
Yeah, once he destroyed like the main power
Yeah.
of the main tower,
Yeah.
all the other robots just shut down.
That's it. And then, of course, Mitchell, he smiles, he comes out, but then he dies.
Yeah.
Because
He sacrifices himself for everybody.
even though we don't see what he does to sacrifice himself other than go into this tube.
I don't know.
and then the sun comes out and it stops raining
And
instantly.
everyone's looking in the sky all,
No.
yeah. And then it just kind of ends. There's no
Yes.
real resolution. No real like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
What happened to Mitchell? He died. Like, none of that. It just
Nothing.
ends.
It's just done. We're done.
Oh, man.
And that's Transmorphers.
That's Transmorphers. Jesus. All right. Well, we got to rate it.
Man, you go first.
All right. Well, the battery on that thing is running a little low.
You think we can do it?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
We'll keep our eye on it.
Yep.
If not, we'll have to just redo some of this. Anyways,
Yeah.
so how do I rate this?
Yeah.
Not good.
Really, Joe? Tell me more. Why not, Joe?
Honestly, I found myself drifting off during this movie a lot.
Yes.
I was not entertained. There was nothing keeping me going. I was just like, I was watching it, and then I would drift off, and then I'd be like, oh, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Dialogue was horrible.
Yes.
CGI was horrible.
Yes.
The story was horrible.
Yes.
It really had very little to do. It wasn't really a knockoff of Transformers.
Not at all.
They were using the title, using the logo, but other than that, it was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like a lot of B movies, even though they're bad, I'm entertained by
Yeah.
the badness. And with this, it wasn't even entertaining for me.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
Is it over yet? God dang. Like, please, let it be over. So I'm going to say this is a 1 for me. I'm not thrilled with it. I don't want to say I recommend it, that
Yeah.
people even see it. It's just kind of, The only other thing I would say is the Asylum people.
Yeah.
I mean, they purposely make bad movies. I
Right.
mean, that's their gimmick, which is cool in a way. Sharknado and all that's
Yeah.
actually kind of fun. But I do like B movies where the filmmakers are really trying to make a great movie and it ends up being a piece of crap.
Yes.
That's what I like best. And this is not that. It's just purposely bad and it's not even fun.
Yeah.
So that's that. 1 for me.
I will have to agree with you. Yeah, there was just okay. Let's go down the list. So many characters get introduced that you lose track. Like, I remember Mitchell because he has a British accent and his sidekick. That's it. Like, there's so many characters in this movie where you're just like, oh, that's that one person that does that one thing that I forgot that he did. The CGI was terrible. And it's one of those things where it's like, when you look at a B movie, sometimes you'll see where somebody was actually creative. This wasn't even creative.
No.
I swear they used the same shot of like all the robots in the scene, but they're all walking the same, and it's just like, they really didn't try with this movie.
Yeah. It's a movie too. Like, if you work on this movie, it's great if you're new to the film industry. 'Cause
Yes.
it's like, you can do whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, so yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the ADR, you could tell.
Yeah, that was bad.
There's a lot of, with film, they always say show, not tell. There was a lot of telling in this movie. Like, when the big reveal of Mitchell as a robot, off screen, they just look down at his arm, and it's like, there's some clicking that goes on, and that's it. He's a robot. Like, I don't even really like this movie, but Terminator Salvation, there was one scene where, like, Sam Worthington is chained up, and he looks down at himself, and then he sees, like, he's actually a machine. You don't get this in this movie.
No.
It's just like, you're a robot. Oh, my gosh. All
What
right.
would have made it funny is if they were messing with him, if he wasn't a robot. It's like, we just got to get rid of this guy and get him to kill the robots.
He seems like he'll do it. I don't know.
Just tell him he's a robot.
Just tell him he's a robot.
He'll believe it. Yeah, he never questions it. It's like, wait a minute, I am?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, he says, I've always known.
Yeah.
How? How have you always known you're a robot? Who is just like, man, something's wrong with me. I'm not an organic being.
Yeah,
So that was another thing. And yeah, like, this movie, it was just, it was actually just a scam where it's like, it looks like Transformers.
Yeah.
If I don't look at it twice, I'll pick it up like it's Transformers. And then I put it into my DVD player, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't Shia LaBeouf or Megan Fox. This is something different. And so, yeah, this is a 1.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is to make fun of it, and it's just like, there's a really bad scene where they show the hover cycles. The hover cycle scene was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just to watch that. It was so bad that...
That stuff. And then everything was handheld. They don't have tripods.
No tripod, handheld, and just... I don't know, everything about it was just...
Wrong.
It was like, you can't... I don't know. I just wasn't with this one, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what Asylum does with Sharknado.
Yeah.
But this one is just total... Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dragging for me, man. I had a rough time watching this.
I remember because I watched this on Amazon Prime.
So did I, yeah.
I paused it and I was like, wait, I've only been watching half an hour? Oh my God. No.
It wasn't even a long movie.
No. It was like an hour and a half, which isn't that bad.
And it's hard to recall every little thing because most of it was minutia.
Yes.
It was just, let's just add this scene and it's got nothing to do with anything.
It goes back to that girl fight scene.
Yeah, and the one character, there was this one woman that she was kind of nasty through the whole thing.
She had that weird mascara thing going on.
She seemed like she was going to turn on them, like there was going to be some kind of plot twist.
Yeah.
Because she seemed evil. But it wasn't. She was just nasty. Yeah. Like she was just mean and for no reason. She was mean to everybody.
Everybody.
She had a snarky remark to everybody. She seemed just mean and I was like, oh man, she's gonna turn on them. She's setting them up. Something's gonna happen, and it never happens. It's just she's just mean.
And it goes back to like having too many characters, because these really aren't characters. They're characters. They're like roles that you see in typical movies.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the asshole character, or the lead of the love interest, or the comic relief.
The scientist.
You gotta have the scientist. You gotta have the scientist that has the female robot. You gotta do it.
The eccentric scientist.
Yeah,
dude,
and it's just like all these characters, but I can't really remember any of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the comic relief guy, he was okay as an actor. Yeah, everyone was the acting was either really bad, like overacting, or was really wooden. Yeah, there was nothing. Yeah, that's Transmorphers. I don't recommend it.
No.
And it's a 1 for me.
I would recommend just this, like, for people that are into, like, you know, doing CGI. If you're a student
Yeah.
and you're into, like, CGI and special effects, watch this and have this as the staple in your mind of how not to do things.
Or just set it as your thing. Well, I could do a little bit better than that. So
Yes.
apparently I can find work somewhere.
Yes, because they did the bare minimum. So,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's Transmorphers.